All right, so we're going to wrap up. I put together a couple lists of action items that we can be looking at here with IEDD. From a networking standpoint, I can see us increasing our social gatherings. They may not be technical in nature, but we may be here at Landry's or someplace else and just have a happy hour on a Thursday or Friday afternoon, let folks get together. If nothing else, get out of the house and at least, put some real clothes on instead of walking around in our shorts and t-shirts all the time. I know I'm guilty of that myself. It feels funny having long pants on, actually. Not getting used to it. And then, our next big event, and I think the timing on this is good, is December. We'll have our sporting clays tournament. Scott had indicated. Greg has already volunteered to sponsor it, so we're good to go with that.
Where's that held at?
It's up here at Blackwood Gun Club in Conroe. And then under the information, there's going to be ongoing updates and a quarterly technology update. In fact, I could see us transitioning into this Zoom type format, that we may have an hour or two long technology update on rotary steerable tools. And people can log into that. I think it's a good way of getting the information out. And, really, we typically have our meetings on a monthly cycle, but we can increase the frequency of those, make them shorter, more topical, because people are just logging on. And I think it can be a good venue for information to get back and forth. So from a training standpoint, I've had this on my to-do list for a while, but obviously got sidetracked a little bit here, is getting a training subcommittee together. Blaine talked about certain aspects, Greg talked about aspects, but the material is out there. There's people doing training on MWD right now. There's people doing training on torque and drag. There's people doing training on drilling optimization. All we have to do is coalesce and collate that material and get it up into a platform, and then develop what these certification and accreditation processes can be. So believe me, I've developed training material. It's not a simple task, but I think in today's environment, with having the right raw materials, that we can very easily transition into programs that can be readily available. Then, we talked about the mighty social networking site. There's a training module on that, and I think that's going to be particularly good for some of the more elementary functions. What's a drilling bit? What's a roller cone bit? What's a diamond bit? What's a PVC? Those types of things can be pulled on. And then we can do the fee online. We can do instructor led. Greg and Jason were talking about those various elements. Certain material lends itself to a certain type of environment. So I think we can do that. And then they get the competency assessment going. Then from standards, I'd like to start establishing some standards for wellbore placement, wellbore quality. I've had both of those in conjunction with the ISC WSA. They've gone down this path a little bit. I think we can help to get them integrated into practical use. Then operational performance, equipment performance. So, how well are we drilling, and how well is the equipment lined up? There is no real standard for mean time between failures. So how can you compare one company's reliability to another when there is no consistent formula from one to another? And how can you grade yourself? As a service company, if you don't know where you stand and what needs to be done to get better. So I think those are going to be the initiatives that you'll see coming out. This has been a tough time. We can't mitigate that or ignore it. I think everybody here has lost people that they know in the industry that they are no longer in the industry. But, you know, it's also a time of opportunity. So I think we have to try to stay as positive as we can and think outside the box. But heck, we've all been thrown outside of the box right now. So it's not hard to just look around a little bit and grasp it and embrace what's going on and make the changes.